interview on the 15th of March 2016 for Our Roots, Our Journey, Our City. So, first of all, can I ask you your names?
My name is Syeda Khalid.
My name is Rehena Sultana.
And can I ask when and where you were born?
I was born in Sunderland Royal Hospital, 7th of April 1988.
I was born in Sunderland as well, in the Royal Hospital, 3rd of February 1985.
Right. And can you tell me about growing up in Sunderland?
Growing up in Sunderland, I remember it being pleasant, okay. I think over the years, definitely things have improved in the sense that there's more things to do in Sunderland. When I was young, I remember not doing much. It was kind of like just visiting people and going to school and back.
But nowadays, there's like so many young projects and stuffs going on to help the kids to engage with different kids as well. You know, how they have community centres to go to do the activities and stuff like that. We didn't have much back in the days, but we did have it like once a week, but it was really hard to go because of people saying different, people who were having different views about it. So it was very hard engaging with other community. Also,
I feel parents were a lot more protective as well.
Are very reserved amongst making decisions for girls to be able to do anything.
To go out and hard, to mingle with others.
Nowadays, I would say in every household, there is like 2 or 3 of the kids or the siblings who are attending like colleges and universities and going ahead with their lives and doing different things. But back in the days, it wasn't like for like you weren't allowed or anything like that. But I think the parents were very confused and scared how to let go of the girls or to do something.
When you were in school, were there other kids who were from BME communities or?
Yes,
there were not many as now. Not many as now.
I think primary school there was, and then and a lot of the people, like even from the white community, used to go to that school. So
it was mixed.
We used to go together, and it was like kind of like everybody used to get along. But then secondary school, I remember going outside the catchment area, which was quite daunting because most of the people went to the local school and I didn't. And over there, in the whole year group, there was only me and this other girl I remember from the BME, and everybody else was white or from other backgrounds. But
I think that is because that is more because I would say, for example, the name of the school is Thornhill School. I would talk about the secondary school I went to. So basically, I would say more than half of BME people in Sunderland attended Thornhill School for the secondary, and there were just quite like under 5%, I think, who went to Southmore or Girls' High School.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Nobody going there, and us like travelling.
It was more
ourselves.
of like one household would think, I'll just let my kid go to Thornhill because my neighbour's going to Thornhill School, or I know a member of family's kid who's attending Thornhill School, or my relatives going. So it's more like of that sense where the parents at all just keep
and because I went to the religious school, and that's how I think I knew a lot more like girls were from like who were Bengali. And other than that, because in school nobody was who were Bengali, so most of my friends were white. And my local friends didn't go to that school, so you kind of like drifted away really.
How did you get on with the white kids from Sunderland?
It was good. It was fine.
I would say they were good and fine, but some you'd find Chavez who had
whatever you call, but the majority were fine.
Yeah, I would say they're okay. But I would say obviously when we were in high school, so it was okay in like first and second year, but the minute obviously at the third year we hit, there were like some. That's when obviously the fight began, where the English kids who were fighting the Bengali and other BME groups as well, who mainly was Bengali kids, and they had like a fight, and obviously from there it started to separate, like where everyone started to make comments, and where less of the English kids were with like towards Bengali kids. It was it was very different, I would say, because
Whereas I never really came across that.
But Thornhill did. We had some issues, and all the kids started to drift away from the white kids. But
Was that the majority of white kids? Or?
well, I would say not majority, but yeah, I would say majority kids. It was less of white, because for example, like if the white kids were having fight with the Bengali kids, so some of the other white kids didn't want to mingle with other Bengali kids because the other white kids will pick on the other white kid.
Yeah.
So we went, like, it was a fashion, to be honest. At the end of the year, there was a massive row and a fight. The police and everything were involved, and so many people were banned. And our year, I remember there was like a massive fight, and obviously all the racial comments and abuse that did happen was horrible, and everyone was involved.
How did the police deal with
The
it?
police found it hard because both sides had like their opinions, like they had the opinions to say. So for example, the white kids, they called me, and it was like really bad. But obviously the police had to obviously deal it to their way. So
What about teachers?
teachers found it difficult as well, I would say, because they didn't know what to say or what to do, because it was horrible, because they couldn't obviously pick a side.
Do you think teachers treated all the kids equally?
I would say yeah, they did. To my best of my knowledge, I can remember they did. They wouldn't. Maybe one or two, I would say they had their pick, but I would say although the majority of teachers, they were absolutely fine with us. And we had, like, for example, our tutor, he was very supportive. He was against racism, so that was a good point where we could.
Growing up, did your parents talk much about Bangladesh?
Yes.
Yes, that was the main
And I think
topic or whatever.
yeah,
we
and that's why I
called
think we
in
know
our
the language
household.
very well as well.
Yeah, we weren't
because now I
allowed to
feel
speak too much of English.
yeah,
were
because
we?
I feel my kids don't really know Bengali, and the only reason we probably do because we spoke at
with
home
our
in Bengali.
parents, 'cause
And
our
I wish
parents-
I speak with my kids in Bengali, but when you get home,
we
you
ended up
forget.
speaking English.
Yeah, you end up just
Because I would say
English.
we obviously we had a big joint family where our granddad and my grandma, we stayed together. So obviously they speak Bengali, so we had to, if one wanted to communicate, it has to be in Bengali.
Yeah, and there's a
So
few
obviously
times we went
was
as well
less
to Bangladesh.
Yeah, it's not like we went to Bangladesh every year. It was like maybe in 10 years or something we went to Bangladesh, or in 5 years. But we weren't allowed to speak English. I remember we weren't allowed to speak English at all, because my uncle went off it. It's like speak Bengali and speak English when you're out. But I would say that helped us a lot because we know how to speak Bengali. But with our kids, it's so bad. When they want to speak to someone who can't speak English, they just basically look at you like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah, and they were very keen to go Bangladesh
Yeah.
and to take us as well. So, yeah, Bangladesh was a big part, talking about Bangladesh, yeah.
What did you think about Bangladesh?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, because
I
we used to
really
go,
loved
like,
it, yeah.
a few times, like in a decade or something. So it was good. It was like a holiday, so...
Especially when you have, if your
And we had
mom's
family there as
lived there,
well,
your dad's
yeah.
family lived there, then it's more like it's really important.
But nowadays,
to
I feel
visit.
like I wouldn't want to go because I hardly have any family there.
Yeah, because
rather
we
go
would say
somewhere
that
else.
because our mom and dad are in this country. So obviously our mom and dad, they had their family in Bangladesh. So obviously we visited with them, like our grandparents. But now obviously our kids, like their grandparents are here, so it's very it'll be different. And some people actually don't, like as Rehena saying, that you don't have anyone there now, do
Yeah.
you? So it won't be you won't have an option of going there. So you may, but you'll prefer to go in another country for holiday.
Yeah.
What did you think of the differences between here and Bangladesh? Did you notice them as a child?
Yeah, there was a big difference, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
massive difference.
In the sense that the other, like Bangladesh, it was like more of a hot country, but then it's not as developed as this country. And when we used to be there, then people would give you so much like attention and treat you like a royalty, isn't it? They would refer you as the Londonese.
Yeah. They'll teach you very different when you're there. If you're going from UK, and obviously they understand how hard it is for the families to go from UK. Obviously, the finance way and everything. It's quite expensive to travel to Bangladesh. It's not very cheap.
But I think eventually you get, because we were there once for a year, but eventually you kind of get homesick. That you want to be back.
You just want to be back.
Yeah.
What did you do when you went on holiday though?
Basically visiting families and enjoying, relaxing.
Yeah, going to the Syeda.
Yeah, to the village, because some people stayed in the village and some people lived in the town. So
yeah, we lived in Sylhet.
Yeah,
where did you
we lived
guys
in
live?
the village, and obviously my dad's house is in the village, and my mum's family is from Sylhet, so we stayed both places.
Yeah.
But I would say the half of the UK people if they go to Bangladesh, they prefer the village. It's because of the atmosphere and the open space.
Yeah, but I'm different. I like to
and I like
Sylhet
personally. I love Sylhet better.
Yeah, because of
my family. I would say my brothers they love the village because they go you're going from UK from they
say it's more airy, it's more nice.
To a same place. If you go to Sylhet, it's the same thing. You're in a house, but in village it's very open and the atmosphere and the people you see.
Yeah, I remember Dad. Like he whenever he used to go, he used to be a different changed man. He was proper lively. Mm-hmm. In this country, he was a workaholic, really. But over there, because it was free.
It's obviously over there, it's work free and stress free.
Yeah, yeah. And he would go
back
to
in the
family,
days. Our
shopping.
Parents did work really hard, especially the dads, working 2-3 jobs to maintain the family and to maintain, if they had family back home, to maintain that family as well.
Yeah.
So it was quite hard for them. They went through quite difficult. Because some people who live in, I remember when we were in Sunderland, my dad travelled to London to work because he had a business there. Because it was running more better in London than here. So they had it quite hard, tough time to travelling and work and maintaining everything.
Yeah.
How did your families preserve Bangladeshi traditions in this country?
Well, they do, don't they?
They still do.
The traditions what you have to do.
They still do.
Especially during a wedding, you see all these traditions that come out. Or I can't remember much now, but
at Eid times it's really traditional as well.
Yeah, you go and visit
all the family get together in for example, for example, my dad, he's the eldest to his sibling. His family will come to ours in the morning and we'll have our lunch together and dinner together, whatever it is, and then we'll go out and visit all the other families to greet them, Eid Mubarak. So it's a very different day that day, isn't it? Everyone's work free and they're enjoying amongst each other. And at weddings, that's when you see the difference.
Most of the traditions.
All the traditions.
Everybody does, and there is a lot of there is the cultural traditions, and everyone follows a lot of the Islamic traditions as well. Even in this country,
even
Ramadan
though
and everything else.
People have obviously people have UK weddings are different. English people do have their weddings very different.
But here you need to invite the whole city.
Yeah, but our weddings, Bengali weddings or BME weddings, I've seen they still try to follow the tradition.
Yeah.
They still try to keep their way
it's very
of doing
close knit.
They will do it their way. And I think the government has allowed it as well, doing it their way as well. There wasn't you're not allowed to do this or that. It's just up to you, to be honest, how you do it.
Was it difficult to preserve traditions over here, do you think?
In sense of?
In sense of attitudes towards it? Do you think people?
I think they liked it. When some, obviously, some friends that my dad had and family did have, when they were invited, they loved it. They enjoyed having the
it's
food.
It's fine. I think it's us where we'll be like, oh, why do you have to do this? Or why does it have to be so cultural? Or does it have to be that way?
But I think they enjoyed when they came. I remember when
because now I think
came, they were like,
we don't follow as much, whereas they did. So a lot of it are like parents. But I think it's kind of fading with
white people didn't have anything against it. Or
I think they like it.
They loved it because when they came, I remember one of the family weddings we had. Some work friends of my dad and family came, and they just really loved it. They were like it's really lavish and very colourful and royal. And how everyone gets together. They can't get their head around how we invite 1,000 of guests.
Yeah.
And we have to invite. You won't be able to have a wedding with just 10 guests. It has to be over hundreds. So that's when you get to see everyone, I think, isn't it? The community.
And the family.
Yeah.
The close and the distant family, everyone.
Everyone travels.
What about British culture?
Yeah, again, well, our parents didn't know much about British culture. They did and they didn't.
I think they wanted to ignore it. Not ignore it, they were more scared. I would say they were scared.
But I think as we were grown up, but we were more, obviously we were living in Britain, we were more British, so it's kind of they were looking at
some parents were very strict, I would say. I know our friends, their
they weren't allowed, into doing anything.
Really, really strict. It was hard for them, going anywhere or going to a trip, maybe even from school.
Yeah,
it was quite hard to get through your parents. And some parents were okay because they were trying to obviously get their head around the rules, and obviously living in Britain, you have to get.
And especially the British food, even my parents, even my mum used to how some people only like Korean rice, whereas she used to like British food as well. She didn't really mind. Yeah, I think my dad was more of the Korean rice person.
Yeah, I think all the dads are Korean person.
Yeah.
So what did you do once you left school?
I went to college, then uni.
I went to college and then I got myself a job.
And how did you find that?
It was okay. I loved college. I really liked it. We did have mixtures.
I think
it was very friendly. I think I would say personally, I don't know how Rehena feels, but primary school was really good because we didn't even think about what the other kid is thinking about you. We didn't have this there wasn't
perception of
there wasn't a barricade where she's thinking different of me or she's making any comments. It wasn't like that. Everyone was friendly amongst each other. It's when high school you obviously hit high school, everything started to go different, and then I would say in college it was really nice. I think everyone was mature enough to get along with each other. So college
was good because you kind of reached that age where you could be a bit independent, more independent. And I think by then it was kind of even parents relaxed a bit as well. It was kind of what before. I think then it was who said what and who saw you where you've been out with your friends and we don't know whatever. But they were a lot more relaxed and.
I think it's because in college and uni there's mixture of people and
meeting all
everyone's
different
mature.
People.
They're not really there to make comments or anything like that. They're just busy with their own individuals.
Yeah.
So.
And then what about getting jobs?
Getting jobs, basically was up to yourself how you
I did
push
a
yourself to
part-time
get
job.
a job. Yeah,
I just did a part-time job.
It's just getting out there and looking for
one.
one. But it was open. You did have choices of getting jobs. It's just pushing yourself towards and getting it.
Yeah, and I feel I think our parents encouraged us as well. Whereas you saw other people who didn't, but ours did, which was encouraging.
How did you get on with your colleagues when you were working?
Yeah, they were fab. They were really fab. They were absolutely fine.
Oh yeah, I think you would have a right banter.
You would have one or two, obviously.
I think
I
that they
think
were
it's with
all, I
our
liked
community
them all,
as well. You
yeah.
might have one or two not getting along with white people.
And I would
So-
go like on staff
Staff dues and
night out and stuff. It was nice, just to have a laugh.
And then, what about raising a family in Sunderland?
Again, I think I wouldn't. Even though
If you-
Sunderland doesn't have much, I wouldn't go anywhere else.
Yeah,
For
I
some
think it's
reason.
because where you're brought
Yeah,
up.
I
is
feel like I
different.
wouldn't choose to go anywhere else.
Like, for example, you know how people say, South is more better, like London,
Yes.
for example. If you compare London and Sunderland, so many people say, London is much better.
Once you live there, you're never gonna come back.
Quota, when you live there, you don't want to come back. There's more to do, more varieties, more choices. It's more open, and obviously here in Sunderland, there's nothing much. There's not much, but still, your
your
you're
friends
so
and your
used to
family
it,
here,
like where
so
you live.
I wouldn't change it for anything else. And I think again with my son, he goes to the primary school. The school I went to. Well, back then it was an old building, but then it was made into a new one, and I was, I think, only there for like a year or two. But that's the same school he goes to, which I don't remember most of the teachers.
I think they changed now.
I think they're retired.
Yeah.
They're all like new.
Uh-huh.
And I think living here in Sunderland, it's nice. It's
Obviously,
peaceful.
there was like some different, like you did have it a bit difficult to get along there when there was like. So, for example, 9/11. After that, there was a huge difference. Everyone started to blame the Muslims, and the girls who wore hijabs. They found it very difficult because it was spat on. I've seen it myself.
Have you?
Yeah, they've been spat on and they've been shouted at and stuff like that. And it did frighten the girls who were wearing hijab. They just sometimes they thought like, oh, let's just not wear it. It's more safer.
Yeah, I think personally. I didn't really see much until there was a time where I decided to wear the face veil for some period, but then it didn't work out with work and everything. But I think that was the time I did actually feel threatened or intimidated, if you know what I mean, because you would like walk through the streets or like the town, and for a fact somebody's going to say something, whereas in the past nobody ever did, not even with the hijab, but with the niqab they did.
I think with niqab still they have issues in newspapers and in
they still
social
do, and
media,
that was like last year probably.
Yeah.
But I would, they would say stuff and I would just say stuff back. I couldn't keep quiet, to be honest.
I think now the British people have put the head round to the fact that there will be Muslim girls who are wearing hijab. Now that even half of the schools are all the schools are allowing girls wearing hijab who are willing to wear hijab or allowed to wear hijab.
In public places you would feel like uncomfortable at times, but then you would think, well, it's my choice, it doesn't have to be for like anybody else. So I didn't really used to look at people looking at me, whereas like my friends might say, or my family, look at that person's looking at you, and I'll be like, well, I don't care really.
I think when you're mature enough and you're confident, you find it very easy, but sometimes girls who are immature and young and they feel very uncomfortable. Or what's that?
Well, you do, and obviously if you're going to get abuse thrown at you, you would. But
I think now they're quite used to with the hijab, but still
definitely.
there is one or two or three who's making or throwing comments at you. You just have to deal with it.
And I think before there was nothing to do with we didn't even know what terrorism was.
Yeah, I never heard of anything like that. Honestly, at school time there were anything like that. Even at home, your parents didn't even talk about terrorism. But nowadays, wherever you go, like some parents are talking or saying like how uncomfortable they feel about the kids, what they have to go through with the comments and stuff.
Did you get married here or in Bangladesh?
Yes,
I got married in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your wedding?
So you want to start or shall I start?
You can start.
Well, I got married in Bangladesh. My whole family went. All of like my siblings and my auntie, my uncles.
Weddings
all
in
of us
Bangladesh are
went.
big.
And wedding in Bangladesh, as you say, it's really big. And 3-4 days. It just continues. But well, all my brothers and my sister, my family, we got married in Bangladesh because my grandma stayed there, so she didn't want to travel here. So for the sake of that, my dad didn't want his mother to miss the wedding, and my mum's family. So we traveled there. But my brother recently got married here. But I would say Bangladesh weddings are much better than here. But
if all your
to the
family
individual,
goes.
if all the family goes, I guess. But all our family did go, so I don't know how other people feel. But it's nice in Bangladesh, I would say. You enjoy, it's more relaxing. You don't have to work towards it. You've got people who are doing everything for you.
You have maids who can do stuff for you.
Yeah, maids are there to do it. Like, they do everything for you, and you just basically sit and enjoy and relax.
Yeah, true. And the weather's nice as well.
But here, I would say you have to do everything yourself, and it is stressing.
Yeah.
But you enjoy it at the same time.
The bride
as well.
doesn't stress though.
Yeah, the whole family does. Chicken, they keep on running like chicken, but I think it's nice here as well. You get the whole.
I think it's nice wherever your family is, whether this country.
But I think it's more lavish and very.
Yeah, it is.
Royal in Bangladesh, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's much nicer in Bangladesh because
you
my
enjoy.
sister got married in Bangladesh, but I got married in this country, and
more to do in Bangladesh, I would say. Like, you can do more things than here.
Yeah.
Sometimes the weather here just kills it, I guess.
Yeah.
You tell me about your wedding.
Yeah, I got married in when was it? 2008. And actually, we got married in this Bangladeshi centre. I didn't want to get married here, but because of the capacity of the people, but my in-laws wanted it here, and it was a big wedding, but the venue was a bit small for it, wasn't it?
I still remember. Like, standing in the corner, and then I started to give up and go home.
People were telling me there was so many people and there was no space. But as a bride, I think I was more interested in my wedding needs to be like this and like that. I was just interested in myself, really. Yeah,
I guess they're all the brides.
and then afterwards, you realise, But
I think back then, as a bride, we didn't say much. We would be very we just leave it to the family, I guess, to the parents. But now...
Yeah, but I'd still chose a few things.
Yeah,
but now the way brides do everything themselves...
I'm not saying you're not allowed to give your opinion. I'm saying some big decisions and that will just say, okay, fine. Yeah. Like, as you said, your in-laws want to do it here. You're like, okay, fine. Yeah, but I think now it's more of what the husband and the wife really thinks, what they want, and the parents get along with it.
Our times it was more
the parents and the people and the family.
What the parents want.
But I guess it was more better because it was more blessed. That's my opinion. I think I'm not against with how it is now, but I would say it was very good back in the days as well. I miss the fact where all the kids we never had phones, we never had iPad, we had nothing. It was more of going outside and having a play with the kids. But now it's, as a mom myself, I really don't want my son to go out. I'd rather keep him inside because I don't know why, but I just
even in this country though, the wedding can go on for a few days.
Yeah,
it does, and then everybody comes to your house and you have the
meet and greeting parts. Oh my
God! So much goes on. Yeah. And then after the wedding, there's these traditions I didn't know you had to do. Then the next day you have these traditions
cut the fish.
Cut the fish. And,
where you have so much to do.
And then after certain days you go
I think it's what your families and the family's gone into, your in-laws, what they're doing. It's not much other people are stopping you or the white people are stopping you. Not allowing. It's something you're doing inside your house, so it's not out of the law or anything like that.
But it was a big change though. Getting married is a big change.
No, I'm saying how if anyone stopped us, so it's nothing to do with any.
Yeah. Have you been back to Bangladesh recently?
I've been to Bangladesh. Yeah, I went in 2010, 11, and 12. Right. So I haven't been recently, but last was 2012.
Right.
And last I went, it was in 2006. Okay. Yeah, it was my cousin's wedding, so I went to attend that wedding. It was good, yeah.
How's Bangladesh changing?
It's because last time when we went was 1999, and then it was 2006. It was a massive change, and then from 2006 to 2011, it was a massive change as well. Everything was very advanced and digital.
And even now, people say it's changed a
and
lot.
it's changed. My
There's so
parents
many,
just went and they said everything
tourist
changed.
attractions.
Yeah, there were
people say?
many resorts and hotels and places to visit with kids and tour around. I think. Yeah.
I remember going to a theme park. Well, supposedly a theme park. It was so scary. There was nothing to do with safety.
Yeah, they didn't know how to do safety stuff, did they?
It was just so funny.
But now it's changed. Everyone's saying it's very advanced now.
Living in this country, what's your strongest sense of identity? Do you feel more Bangladeshi, British,
Well,
Muslim?
I think I feel more of a Muslim, like a British.
British Muslim.
Muslim
You have to
or
obviously
Bangladeshi.
say to whatever.
Yeah, whoever says I say I'm Bengali.
What's your identity? Wherever you go, even if you're in a form, they
Yeah.
say what's identity.
You say
have to say
Bengali.
British,
Yeah.
and then obviously they say your.
But I would
ethnicity is
identify
obviously where you go.
I would prefer to identify myself as a
Muslim.
Muslim woman. Yeah.
British Muslim or Muslim
You
British.
identify more as being a Muslim than Bangladeshi.
Yeah.
I would put that first, yeah. But it's always like, you know, I know I'm a Bengali, and it's like whoever asks, you know, the first thing is, which where are you from in Bangladesh? Or you feel the sense the sense of need to say, oh yeah, I'm from Bangladesh, but then I feel I'm from here.
There's
first,
so many
isn't it?
people. For example, as if you say you're from Bangladesh, you might be Indian from Bangladesh. You might be another
Yeah.
You're just not Bangladeshi, not Bengali from Bangladesh.
But I can't say
So
I'm
I
just
would-
British either.
Yeah, I would say
I have to say I'm Bengali
If I have
British.
to say, if I have to add British, obviously you have to add
Yeah.
British because you're from British. I would say I'm a British Muslim. You're
Yeah.
British Muslim or
Yeah.
British.
What about
Muslim
between British and Bengali? What's your strongest sense of identity with?
What do you mean? As
Do you,
in
do you identify more as being British or being more as Bengali?
British. I would say it's true.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah,
It's
I
not
think it's just a
something-
name where you
It's
say
just
I'm
a name, to be
Bengali.
honest,
But
British.
but I feel more.
If
yeah,
you have
British,
to the outer world or to if some obviously a paperwork or something like that, then if they ask you
because we hardly
to
know a lot of like
identify yourself, it is
in-depth
British, isn't
words
it?
in Bengali
Yeah.
and like certain
Uh-huh.
things in Bengali.
So after that, British, you would say, "Oh, I'm a Muslim."
yeah.
So there you go.
Do you think your children will continue to practice Bangladeshi traditions?
I doubt
That's
it.
that's what I would want to. I would
Yeah.
want that to go on for generations and
Yeah,
generations.
but the way it's going on, I feel like they won't.
I wouldn't want my kid not to introduce his background to his kid. I would want it to go on. As
Yeah.
obviously, if my parents have done it for me, I want my kids to know where we're from, our background. And I'm sure if he knows his background, he will try to introduce that to his.
That's it.
Kids.
It's up to us
And it'll
to
go on.
educate them,
Yeah.
isn't it? But
Obviously, nowadays, I think there are BME who are educating themselves, and it's very easy. But they will introduce their background to their kids. So why not? Why can't we not? If everyone else can, I'm sure we can as well. And it's up to you how you do it, how you deal with it.
How do you think Sunderland's changed over the years?
A lot.
oh yeah,
quite
definitely.
A lot.
Especially people's mentality. as well.
Mentality, yeah.
Do you think it's got better or worse?
Oh, definitely better.
Much better, 100% better.
They're a lot more broad-minded.
Even our community are broad-minded now
Yeah,
as well.
they were so narrow-minded
They were
before. my
very
God.
narrow and closed with opinions they wouldn't want to share anything,
Yeah.
and very reserved. But nowadays, I
Yeah.
think they're very open and
Yes.
they're allowing you to do
They want you
so
to
much.
integrate. They want to integrate.
Because I think back in the days, they didn't really get out much often to explore. But now they're very willing to, and they have to.
Yeah, and there's
And you have
things to
learn
do in
how
Sunderland
to-
now as
yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Like whereas before you would think, oh, what shall I do? There was nothing there. Not even anywhere to go for a meal, a nice place. It was only.
I would say now,
thing,
like you would be able to go out with your family and your parents
Yeah.
to meal in restaurants and enjoy yourself.
And I think before as well, they wouldn't want to travel to Newcastle for a meal, would they? Whereas now
they
would.
will.
Yeah.
They would. They would say, "Oh, let's go out
Yeah.
for your birthday or anniversary." Or I think, like for example, if it's your kid's birthday or if it's your anniversary or anything like that, if you do it like as a family, we are gonna do that. I think it follows, doesn't it?
Mm.
So if you make it like happen,
If you make an effort,
and if
then,
you take your kids out and obviously engage and get to know, then I'm sure that your kid will think, this is what we
because
do.
the
then
way
that's what
we
he
take
will
our
do.
kids out, I don't think it happened with us. But
Yeah.
then
But
there wasn't
still
nothing much for
nothing.
them to do though for us to take.
They
for them to
tried their
take us
best,
out.
I think.
I think
but-
they did to the like whatever there was, like the town or
Yeah.
the park or people's houses mainly to see
mainly.
family.
But
Yeah.
nowadays we obviously go in our way and
Because
do
I remember
much
Dad
more.
used to take us out on his day off. Whereas over the years when we grew up, he didn't do as much. He used to take us to the beach
Yeah.
and to Bradford and here and there.
I think
It was
it's
quite
because of
exciting,
work
yeah.
and stuff. They're quite busy.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, now we are willing to do, make an effort. So I'm sure it'll go on in a circle.
Everything changes though, doesn't it,
Yeah.
with time? And I can definitely see the changes.
Yeah, I can see it as well.
So you think opportunities for integration and things like employment opportunities are better now?
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about racism, do you think?
I think racism, it feels like it's getting worse by the
Racism
day.
is getting worse and worse.
Not that
I would
personally,
say.
like as I say, with that niqab business, I did.
Just
but,
not niqab or hijabs.
I'm
I
saying
would
from
say,
my
yeah,
personal
mhm.
experience, this is when I got it myself. But I think because of the media and everything, it just feels
It's
like
just making it worse, I think.
It's all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like,
It's
there's
everywhere, wherever you go, I
yeah,
think in every
that's the topic.
town and place.
Yeah, whereas it
Same
wasn't like that
topic.
before. Yeah.
What do you think's bad in the media?
Kind of portraying like
Just
Muslims
putting
are
up
bad
Muslim in
and
big bold writing and making it as the worst, even though it's nothing happened.
it's like end of the day, for no matter what
Targeting is very
minority
bad.
minority Muslims might do, it's not we're not really supporting them. We can't really talk for them, so I just feel we can't be like we can't be abused just because they did in a different country or even here. We don't accept that.
How do you experience racism?
I've told you about my experience. Did
Yeah,
you?
my experience at school with the fight and the racial comments.
What about now?
And
Now,
now I think
sometimes when you get out of the house, like the other day, I was getting out of my house to get in the car, and there were a couple of lads, like chavas, I would say, describe them as horrible chavas, started to like throw comments and
Really?
started swearing. So I just said like the same thing, get back. Like, I don't think you deserve to be here as well. Look at yourself. So they just went off. So I think it's really
I think
it's
we've had to
now
go
and
back to
then,
your own country.
Yeah, it's now and then. You would say there's like uneducated boys and choppers
Or
out there just
Pakis and
making-
blackies, isn't
Mhm.
it? Yeah. But then you know what? That's the thing. Like over time, I know it shouldn't be like that, but over time you kind of like become like immune to it. You think that oh well,
Oh, it's gonna happen. Just
whatever.
ignore
Do you
it.
get it? Just
Yeah.
get on with it. And I just feel now. I know we should kind of like report hate crimes. We don't really do it, and I get really sad when I listen to like stories on Facebook, and sometimes listening to like or reading to other people's experiences. I feel like I can't like get on public transports and stuff, even though so far nothing's happened, and I hardly go on into public transport. But last week I did get on the bus, and I was thinking, oh God, is someone going to say something to me? Because you always see stuff online, on social media, but it was fine. I think again, it's like kind of having that fear that it's happened to others, so it might happen to you. But so far personally, it's been good. Yeah.
What are your hopes for the future?
For the future, I think it'll be great if everybody kind of respected each other's views and dress sense or what they want to do, rather than rejecting somebody because of their dress or the way they look. And try and get along with each other and be in the same community, like where I don't have to look down on somebody who's not at the same background as me, and the other person doesn't do the same, and everybody kind of like a big happy family, all of Sunderland.
What about you, Syeda? What would you hope for the future?
Everyone to get along, basically. The hatred to be more or less, I think, it's getting worse, to be honest, very, very worse.
Do you think there's anything that could be done practically to change things for the better?
I think it's all starts from the root of the house, I think, the parents and the family, to teach their kids.
That people come in different sizes and colours,
and to make them understand that colour is not it doesn't make any difference, and everyone has the way of individual, like how they look and the colour of the skin and where they're from. It doesn't matter. Everyone is same.
And also the media, just to be a bit more like
be backed off. I think they just target Muslims and they just bold writing Muslims, and everyone just goes off it that morning in the metro. Oh, it's a Muslim. Oh, it's a look.
Be a bit unbiased.
Yeah.
And show like
to be honest, it's very funny
positive
because
and negative.
I laugh to myself every single time when I go to the hospitals and doctors and other places. Half of the doctors, nurses and GPs are BME, like Asian, the Indian, Pakistani, they're from Malaysia,
I know it's like everybody has
all of them. They're not English, are they? They're not all white, are they? They're all mixed race. So if you can get along with mixed race in time of need, and they can do everything, then why not in general, for a general life, get along each other?
I think like everybody, like including myself, I would say at a point, you think you've been, I've been, or somebody else has been judgmental, or because of the status, even like, thinking of like refugees, you kind of think, oh, the refugees, the immigrants, they'll be like this or that. It's just, I think getting rid of that thought and kind of getting a bit more in it, in the sense that, they're called a refugee or an immigrant, but there's more to it than an immigrant or a refugee. Maybe the labelling as well, isn't it?
That's what I mean. They label you, and that's how you get targeted.
And I didn't, and I feel like... to myself as well, hang on, there might be a refugee, well, it doesn't mean that all refugees are like that.
Same,
They're a refugee for a reason. They were like, they had good jobs in that other country, and I think a lot of it is the knowledge and
it's
education.
How they say, oh, no more immigrants allowed in this country, they're taking over, or we're not allowing any visas or immigrants to come in and blah blah blah. But if you weren't allowing people, then how come there are so many BME doctors and big people who are doing it, like the big jobs and stuff? Then if you stop everyone, then I guess...
I wonder if it's a human nature just to point fingers.
I guess. I think medias are making it worse. Terrible. Like they make it very bad. Because people who do follow the media, they just go along with the media, don't they?
I stopped watching BBC News and stuff.
Yeah. It's just because when you watch something, it's in your head, isn't it? So, for example, you go out. So, for example, like, if they see a newspaper, it says Muslim did this, did that, and then, when a Muslim person's going past, they just look at you and they just make a comment, and you're just like, whoa. It's just because it's Muslim doesn't mean like all the
everybody
Muslims
else commits that same crime.
It's like how like English people, they do something. It doesn't mean the whole English people are like that. It's the same for everyone. Every race, everyone has the way of dealing with things and doing things.